For what it is, Hogwarts Legacy is a good game. It has a good pace to it too, so you don't feel like you have to grind too much before the next missions. I think this should be your first platinum if you never had one and want to have a go at it. I mean, if you always found the thought of it daunting, this platinum is quite accessible for anyone wanting to have a first platinum chess experience. I think Hogwarts Legacy offers you a great overall experience to what a platinum hunt looks like. It's a relatively easy plat to get and has a variety of well-balanced trophy, going from exploration, challenge, and collectible to the classic story and leveling up trophies that don't overstay their welcome really. Apart maybe from the Merlin trials, but hey, nothing's perfect here. For someone that never went for a plat before, it gives you an idea of some of the grind without being too frustrating. It gives you a taste of some challenges too, and is a great learning experience to get an idea of what to look for and how to plan for a platinum hunt without too much hassle. Hogwarts Legacy is a fun game to start with, and if you're a fan of the wizarding world, needless to say, this game is for you. This game is tailored for its audience, which include a lot of quote-unquote non-gamers, to the casual ones with higher difficulty settings. The mechanics are well explained, and the gameplay is nothing too challenging for non-seasoned gamers. Hogwarts Legacy is more about the experience, the story, and trying out a few things as the first title in a franchise. That approachability and straightforward mechanics and puzzle are what makes it an overall good first platinum experience in my opinion. The game obviously isn't without flaws. Apart from missing some elements like Quidditch and some more immersive classes that the fans are craving for, the game also falls short on other aspects, and those are more personal to my experience of course, not being a die-hard fan of the franchise and knowledgeable enough about this world and the fandom. What let the game down for me a bit is the main story. While not bad at all, it just feels a bit flat, predictable, and not as engaging. This is due to the pacing of the story elements that sometimes drags a bit. And the dialogues. Oh god, the dialogues. It is so flat and monotone, so goody to shoes all the time that I disengage quite a bit. It seems that none of the characters have a real personality or emotion sometimes, except one storyline, the Sebastian Sallow side stories. After finishing the game, what I remember the most story-wise is that side story. The characters have conflict, emotion, and the storyline is so engaging compared to the others, and it makes you feel like your choice have an impact. And they do, depending on how you decide to conclude the story. Gameplay-wise, Hogwarts Legacy gives you a good amount of combat, exploration, and puzzles. Relatively easy to pick up, and you can crank up the difficulty if you want a bit more of a challenge in combat. But boy oh boy will you hear the word Revelio quite a bit, and you will end up using that spell in a spray and pray fashion more than purposefully sometimes.
Revelio. Revelio. Revelio.
Looking at the trophies, all of them are offline, which we like, and can be unlocked in one playthrough. Kind of. See, you will have to create a new game with the character of the 3 other houses, and access the map chamber with them for their respective house trophy. Nothing too hard really, but having to redo the intro 3 more times was a bit repetitive. But each house having a different mission made it worthwhile. Depending on how much time you spend in the open world, or if you power through the story, the platinum took me roughly 65 hours to do. That can be speed up drastically using online guides for the collectibles. And we have some on the channels for the dummy guys and the balloons for example, to help you get those quickly. Link in the description. Score-wise, Hogwarts Legacy is a good all-around game. The dev decided to create a one game without any gimmicks with online pay-to-win or loot stuff. And in that sense, it was refreshing. From start to finish, the game flows pretty well, and at the end it leaves you wanting more, in a good way. DLCs or sequels, we just want more. The platinum score also reflects this, as it's not too grindy, except for some Merlin trials, dummy dice and some challenges, but nothing that cannot be done without a bit of patience. Overall, I do recommend giving Hogwarts Legacy a go, especially if you like the wizarding world. It's an accessible game, yes, but a good one. Well crafted, and its flaws can easily be overlooked. Even if you don't intend to get the platinum, you will most likely have a good trophy collection by the end of your playthrough just by playing. And apart from some challenge and collectibles, the cleanup should be easy to do. That being said, let's look at all those trophies. We'll do the story trophies first, so feel free to skip that part with the timestamp down below if you want to avoid some spoilers. The story starts just after the character creation, where we meet with Professor Fig, who was acting as our mentor for the past few months as we come in as a 5th year to Hogwarts. We like the new student from another country starting in a new school. That gave me the British Mean Girls vibes. So we head into Hogwarts when George Osric joins us in the carriage. During the journey, we learn about the Goblin Rebellion, led by Ranrock, and is a threat to the magical world. I think goblins aren't allowed to do magic or human magic, but they have their own or something. See, that's my lack of knowledge in the fandom here. We learn that the late Professor Fig's wife found a strange artifact that seemed inert, except for us, as we're able to open it by touching it. Guess who's the chosen one now? We are then attacked by a dragon. Just before jumping out of the carriage to survive, we grab the key and teleport. It's a port key, super convenient if you ask me. There starts the tutorial part of the game. During this tutorial, we found what seems to be an enchanted stone that only us can see again. The chosen one vibes are cranking up. We touch it and suddenly we're in Gringotts. It's an underground bank run by goblins. And guess what? The key we have in our possession opens a vault within Gringotts. The plot thickens. We jump on a roller coaster and direction the vault. Once there, it's what seems to be an escape room. And we're locked in, and it's up to us to find a way out. We learn our first real spells, Revelio and Lumos, while solving some puzzles and learning the combat system. After arriving in a room with a pensieve, a kind of ball of magic water that shows people memories to others. Hard to explain, but if you know, you know. We witness some old folks with some cool hats who created the escape room, and we learn that the glow only us can see is called ancient magic. No idea what it is yet though. Apparently some bad folks are after it too. We're then interrupted by Ranrock, the alleged bad goblin of the game, and to be fair, he's pretty reasonable with his request until we push his buttons. That starts the battle and suddenly, a giant knight is summoned, destroying everything. So we escape via a teleporting door, conveniently enough leading us to Hogwarts. Arriving at the castle, we're right on time for the sorting ceremony, where we get assigned to our house.
You belong in Ravenclaw!
We obviously sorted in Ravenclaw, the coolest house. There's no debate here. We get our new robes and we get our first story trophy, the sword who makes an entrance, for completing the ceremony. We then head to our dorm room for the night until the next morning where the real game begins. We learn about our house, the school, and Professor Weasley develops our field guide, which we'll use throughout the game for missions and collectibles. At that point, we can also access our inventory and put on the various cosmetics or gear we have so far. Professor Weasley is also inquisitive about why we were late yesterday, and we tell our first lie of this playthrough to save our butts and Professor's feet. And at the chosen one, you have to lie from time to time. At that point, the world opens up. We can go on main missions, side quests, or some exploration. We go on to our first class, Charms, where we meet Professor Ronan and learn the spell Accio. By the end of it, we get a certain trophy, First Class Student. We go to more classes to learn more spells and meet more characters before being sent to the nearby village, Hogsmeade, to get more school stuff and our wand. There we learn about the shop's mechanics and where we'll need to go to find some potion ingredients and scrolls to build stuff, for example. We reach Ollivander, where our wand chooses us. No certain hand nonsense for us anymore. And I don't know why the name Ollivander always makes me think of Olive Garden. There are quite a bit of options to create your wand, but not sure if it changed anything other than the look of it, as it has no stats or perks for spells, for example. Once our shopping is done, we meet with Natty and are attacked by trolls, so we can test our combat skills. After defeating the troll, we did our third trophy, Troll with the Punches. We decide to go for a well-deserved butterbeer to treat ourselves, and overhear a convo between Ranrod and a wizard called Rockwood. Apparently they are in connivance with each other. We hide at the pub and Rockwood tries to intercept us. But the wizards here don't like him really much, and he leaves peacefully. For now. After all those emotions, we go back to the castle and sleep it off. The next day we go on and go to more classes, learn more spells and participate in various activities within the castle. After catching up with him, Professor Fig wants us to visit the library with him to learn more about this ancient magic stuff. But the headmaster had other plans for him. So, impatient as we are, we decide to go on our own, with the help of a fellow student, Sebastian Sallow. After finding a way down the restricted section, we are on our own for real now. And we find a secret room with some ancient magic puzzle. Once again, we need to solve them to escape. At the end of it, we find a magic book and a pensieve that gives us some backstory about the old wizards with cool hat and how they wield that ancient magic. We also learn about Isidora, who, like us, was an Hogwarts student that could harness that ancient magic. And they thought she was the real deal chosen one. We go back to report to Professor Feed and show him the book, but some pages are missing and we need to find them. After more classes and spell learning, we go to Ollivander for some clues. And since we are Ravenclaws, our house-specific quest leads us to the Auror. More on the various specific house quests later on in the video. So we meet that fellow called Jack Doe and follow him in the Forbidden Forest. Oh, and he's a ghost, by the way, so he tells us where to find his body and subsequently where the pages should be. We enter a cave full of spiders and puzzles to escape from. Once at the end, we find his body, or what is left of it, and the missing pages, before being attacked by more knights. After defeating them with style, of course, we find the map chamber and get the Wise Old Trophy for discovery in the map chamber as a Ravenclaw. We learn more about ancient magic and the trials we'll have to face before leaving for more school classes. Back to the castle, we did our first flying class, and finally did our broom, which will make traveling around way easier. Pushing the story, we go to face our first trial, Percival Rackham's trial, to see if we're worthy of being part of the gang. Arriving at the tower, we get rid of some goblins and talk to Percival again. He tells us this tower is San Bakaz, another professor and guardian of ancient magic. Percival sends us in the basement to unlock a basin of ancient magic. And again, we're welcome with more puzzle and knights fighting. At the end of it all, we find another pensieve with more memories about Isidora earning her skills with ancient magic. Her dad is sad since her brother died, and she wants to use magic to get rid of the sadness. A thoughtful daughter, if you ask me. We then teleported to the map chamber after successfully completing the first trial. There we meet Professor Rockwood, another guardian or keeper. And with that, we get the trophy, that's a keeper, for meeting him. It's now fall, or autumn, and we have more classes and assignments to do. And we did our first beast class to show us how to care for them. In the room of requirement, oh yeah, we unlocked that for ourselves, and you can customize the whole thing, it's a whole shebang. Anyway, in our room of requirement, the house elf did proceeds to teach us how to capture beasts with a bag, and put them in our personal zoo. Progressing the story, we meet with Langok, a goblin that used to know Ranrod, the alleged bad goblin. We'll help him find a helmet that he can bring as a peace offering to Ranrock so we can learn more about his plan. Meeting with the Keepers in the map chamber, they send us to our second trial at the Rockwood Castle. There we learn that the bad wizard Rockwood let Ranrock dig under the castle to find some powerful magic. And we also learn that they are after the Chosen One, aka us. We sneak in the castle and face our second escape room trial with more puzzles, more night fights, and another pensive at the end. In the memory, we see an older Isidora, and she was able to bottle up her father's sadness. But the Keepers aren't happy with that, at all, thinking it's way too dangerous. We teleported in the map chamber, once again, and meet the third Keeper, Professor Fitzgerald. It's now winter. And we meet with Landrot again to investigate what Ranrock is up to. And he's building huge drills to dig under the castle to find reservoirs of magic. In that mission is where you can get the Costinelon Trophy for reaching Poitse Coast. By completing more classes and learning more spells, we also get the Spellmaster Trophy for learning 26 spells total. You learn all of them by doing assignments and main quests, so that trophy is heavily story-tied. We then meet Professor Fitzgerald in the headmaster office, where our third trial begins. This one is a good and different one. I really enjoyed it. We get into story time about the Deathly Hallows, and we get to will all of them before accessing the trial pensive chamber place. It's great. Now this is wild. In the pensive, we see Isidora inhaling the bad and sad emotion she takes from people to gain power. Not sure what pushed her to try that, but hey, no shame in here. Ranrock knows that you can do such things too, and that's how he can wield some great magic. Also, Isidora stores that magic in goblin silver for some reason, thus those repositories of ancient magic. And after all the talks, we get the trophy, the Hallowed Hero, for wielding a Deathly Hallow. Before we can face the last trial, we need to catch up with Landrot to get more info about what's up with Ranrock. To do so, we head to the mines where we meet Landrot and Ranrock after defeating some of his henchmen. Or hench-goblins, I should say. Well, suddenly, things go pear-shaped. Ranrock is mad and tries to kill Landrot, his own brother by the way. And Rockwood, the human wizard, isn't happy with Ranrock plans anymore and tries to avacadabra the shit out of him. We flee the scene because we ain't for that drama and head to the map chamber to report the gossip to the Keepers. San Bakar, the fourth Keeper, sent us to our last trial, where we need to tame a Grappon to enter a special cave. I don't really know how to describe to you a Grappon. It's a kind of a bison lion body with an octopus face and horns. Anyway, after defeating and taming it, we get the trophy, grappling with the Grappon, for subduing the Lord of the Shore. And by the way, how they tell you to tame that beast sounds like a really dumb way to die kind of thing, not gonna lie. Inside the cave, we access the last pensive, with Professor Bakar memory, and unlock yet another trophy, the one who mastered memories, for viewing all the pensive. The last memory shows Isidora losing her marbles and storing magic in a bit ball, all taken from Hogwarts students and other normal magic users. The Keepers are pissed, and it's a showdown between them and Isidora. They are going kind of soft on her, except Bakar, that decides to end it quickly with a simple avacadabra. Job's done. I didn't say come in, but realistically, it makes a lot of sense. In the map chamber, we learn that the last repository of magic is conveniently situated in a cave below Hogwarts. So now that we completed the 4 trials and proven ourselves as the best, we need to go build a special one to go deal with that ball of magic, and before Ranrock digs to it and becomes more powerful. So to Ollivander we go. He crafts us a big ass stick, and off we go again. until Rockroot kidnaps us and teleports us to his manor. He wants the wand and all the magics for himself. That guy suffers from the main character syndrome, really. So we defeat a bunch of adult wizards with way more experience and training using magic than us. And then, head back to the map chamber. Who's the main character now, eh? So now we proved ourselves. The Keeper trusts us for real and leaves us to deal with the magic repository and to decide what to do with it. The map chamber is open and done with. Ranrock minions are already there, so it's crunch time, and we need to fight our way in. Fortunately, all the professors come to our aid. Except Darlit for some reasons. Is she a traitor? Who knows? We make it to the repository gate and need to decide what to do with the magic ball. And right on cue, Ranrock shows up. He harnesses the magic and becomes a badass dragon. I mean, that's pretty cool. But no time to ask why though. We defeat him, of course, for the trophy, the hero of Hogwarts. And we try to contain that volatile magic. In the process, we lost Feed. I mean, it was a bit old though, so kind of expected. We say our goodbye and jump forward in time to a dinner honoring Feed at the dining hall. It's filled with emotions and respect, but it's still a bit of a thunder though, not gonna lie. So now that we saved the world, we need to go back to our real business and concentrate on our exams. So we meet Professor Weasley to see if we can pass our owls, and we do so. The credit rolls, and we get our final story trophy, the Seeker of Knowledge, for winning the House Cup. Like there was any doubt that Ravenclaw would win, please. With all the story trophies out of the way, let's have a look at the others. We've done a bunch during the playthrough to level up and get cooler stuff, but many aren't obtainable without progressing the main story anyway. There are no new game plus or trophy associated with that, but you will have to replay the game beginning 3 more times, with the 3 houses you haven't played with yet until you find the map chamber. Each house has a different mission associated with finding the map chamber, and you don't have to continue the game once you get that trophy. For finding the map as a Ravenclaw, you will get a Wise Owl trophy. Finding it as a Hufflepuff will give you the Auror's Apprentice trophy. Finding it as a Slytherin will grant you the Toast of the Town trophy. And finally, finding it as a Gryffindor will give you the Gryffindor in the Graveyard trophy. There are 3 side stories in Hogwarts Legacy that progress along the main storyline. Each one will have you go on an adventure with a fellow student. Poppy from Hufflepuff, Sebastian from Slytherin, and Natty from Gryffindor. And yep, fellow Ravenclaws, we have been forgotten and put aside, as we don't have a storyline for our house. What a shame. Going on an adventure to rescue bees from poachers with Poppy will give you 2 trophies. Defender of the Dragons, when you'll save a dragon in the Poacher's Arena, and Beast Friend, when you'll complete the relationship line at the end of the game. A Sallow Grave will begin at the end of the Dark Arts storyline with Sebastian Sallow. And the last one will be the Avenging Gazelle trophy for completing the Natsai storyline. There are multiple side quests throughout the map, given by various NPCs in villages and Hogsmeade, as well as some in Hogwarts with some professors and students. 2 side quests have specific trophies. The first one, Follow the Butterflies, is obtained by completing Mrs. Willard's side quest, where she will send you to follow some butterflies in the Forbidden Forest. Nothing too complicated really, and it is the start of a collectible strand. You will then have multiple locations when you can follow those butterflies for some collectibles. Helping Dick in the Room of Requirement will teach you how to capture and care for beasts. And one of his side quests will have you rescue a phoenix, and doing so will grant you the Rising from the Ashes trophy. And finally, for completing all the side quests available and there are 57 of them roughly, you will get the Good Samaritan trophy. In terms of gameplay, there are a few simple trophies to get. The first one will be given for using Ancient Magic for the first time, and doing so will pop up the A Keen Sense of Spell trophy. There are quite a few trophies associated with the Room of Requirement, which are pretty straightforward and not too difficult to complete, especially if you collected ingredient and beast during your playthrough. Going through the potions will pop after brewing one of each potion. Easy enough really, and can be achieved quite quickly at the potions table. Note that the Hopping Cauldron table potion does not seem to count though, as it generates random potions for you. You can also buy the missing recipes from Pippin's Potions. Growing each type of plants is a bit more involved, as they have different pot size requirements, so you will need to have those scrolls. I suggest to opt for bigger size pots, as they can grow smaller plants in them, but not vice versa. And the seeds? Thankfully, you can find most of them at Hogsmeade, at the Magic Nip, or at Dogweed and Deathcap. And after growing all of them, you will get the Put Down Roots trophy. Also able to get a breeding pen in one of your vivarium habitat, you will be able to breed each species, as long as you have one male and one female of said species. If you're missing some, just look at the map for their respective den, and poach the gender you need. For the Grabhorn, you will need to return to Clad Marcos, where you got yours during the story, and hope the RNG is on your side. Some save and reloads does the trick until you get the gender you need. And note that you don't have to breed the Phoenix, as it's a unique individual. And once you get all those baby beasts all over the place, you will get the Nature of the Beast trophy. Using the loom in the Room of Requirement is also tied with the beasts you care for, to get upgrading ingredients with higher upgrades, requiring rarer ingredients from rarer beasts. You will get the first trophy Loom for Improvement when you'll upgrade your first piece of gear. And by upgrading a piece of gear fully, meaning 3 times, you will get the third times the Charm trophy. As you level up, you will earn talent points to spend in one of those 5 categories: Spells, Dark Arts, Core, Stealth, and Room of Requirement. It's up to you to spend them as it fits your playstyle really. Note that you won't be able to acquire all the skills, as there are more of them than talent points. You will get your first points at level 5 and 36 totals, while 48 or so talents are available to unlock. Spend your first 5 talent points and you will get a talent for spending trophy. And in the endgame, after completing all the challenges, quests, etc., you should gain all the talent points available, and spending them all will unlock the Savvy Spender trophy. After completing every challenge and quest, you will have gained enough XP to reach level 40, meaning you need 100% completion of the game. And with that, you will get the trophy, a 40 of achievement. In your guide, you probably encountered the Challenge tab, or chapter, which is divided in 5 different categories: Combat, Quest, Exploration, Field Guide pages, and Room of Requirement. Each of those contains specific gameplay challenge or task to do to obtain some rewards. For example, landing on all landing platforms will unlock 3 pieces of gear for you, as well as giving you some XP. Many challenges you will unlock during your playthrough, and you may need to do some cleanup to finalize some tiers. By completing all the tiers of one challenge, you will get the Challenge Accepted trophy. Other gameplay challenge exists too, to unlock specific trophy with 4 of them being combat related. So after stunning 10 different enemies using a Mandrake, you will unlock the Root of the Problem trophy. You will have to defeat 50 enemies using Petrificus Totalis to unlock the Ants Petrify the Means trophy. Reaching a combo of 100 can be a bit daunting at first, but doing it in an arena and taking your time to attack without being hit will come after a bit of practice. And changing to a lower difficulty might help if you're struggling. Once you're at a combo of 100, the Raising Expectations trophy will pop up. A trickier one that you may want to start as early as possible will have you use Ancient Magic on every enemy type in the game. Using the Ancient Magic often will ensure you get this trophy easily. and upgrading your ancient magic to get more slot early is also a good idea. You don't really need to track which you did, as using ancient magic often will ensure you did them all. And with that, the Finishing Touches trophy will pop. There are 3 battle arenas around the map, and defeating enemies in all of them will pop the Rise to the Challenge trophy. Flight the Good Flight is one trophy that can be a bit painful for some players, as it will have you beat all Imelda's time in the broom races. It may take a couple of tries for most seasoned players, but many newcomers struggle a bit with the broom race, as the controls and flight mechanics are not the easiest to grasp right off the bat. The good thing is that there's only 3 races, and by redoing them, you learn the tricks and curves, and it becomes way easier with a bit of practice and knowing where are the rings. And don't forget that popping those bubbles will give you some boost. One of the side quests, by Mr. Moon, will have you find all the Demidai statues throughout the map. This is a good quest to complete early on, as it will also upgrade your unlocking spell to the highest tier. There's a video on the channel on how to get them all, if you decide to go for it. And after finding all the statues, you will pop the Demidai's Dread trophy. The trophy Merlin's Beard will pop once you completed all of the Merlin trials, all of the 95 of them. This trophy is a doozy, but since there are only a few types of them, once you get the gist of it and how to complete one, it makes all the others in the same category way easier. Once again, we have a video on the channel showing the various types and giving you tips and tricks on how to solve them. And after completing the last one, you should finally see the trophy pop. Completing the challenges granting you gears and XP will also count for the next trophy, Collector's Edition, that you will get for completing all collections of your field guide. Most of them are gained in mission or side quests, and some from solving puzzles, like the bestiary doors or following the butterflies. Some of the collection, like the brooms, can be bought at vendors. Ingredients are collected in free roam, and the field guide pages are scattered around the map. It's a daunting task at first, but many can come by exploring the world for some missing pages or ingredients. Combined with the Merlin Trials completion will make that grindy part more effective. One miscellaneous trophy in the game, and quite a funny one, will have you use Flipendo to tip a cow 10 times. And with that, the trophy Spilled Milk will be yours. There are 3 exploration trophies to acquire in Hogwarts Legacy. Unlocking all the Flue Flames is something you can start early on after getting a broom, and fly around the map to unlock most of them. Doing that will also facilitate later collectibles and quests. After unlocking the last one, you will pop the Flue Around the World trophy. Discovering the 5 chance dungeons on the map isn't too hard either. Some of them are discovered during quests, making it easier a bit, and after discovering the last one, you will get the Intrepid Explorer trophy. Once you progress the story enough, you will have a quest leading you to the headmaster's office. Once there, you can reach the upper study, the highest point in the castle, and with that, you will unlock the Room with a View trophy. All in all, Hogwarts Legacy is a good game, well crafted, and a perfect first entry in a series of games. Apart from the setup and lore, the gameplay tried numerous things, some more successful than others, but none were really the main focus, so the things that didn't work could be easily overlooked. I see it's a great first entry in a series, as this is a solid base for a second game. Yes, it kept things simple and approachable, getting players used to the mechanic and the world. Well crafted, but simple. Now it can go a step further, and make things more interesting with more stats for the wands and gear, more spells tied to storyline or choices. It can step up the combat to include more mechanics and overall enhance the RPG experience to make it more complex and personal. I think Avalanche is a great product in the hands, and if they keep the focus on creating a great story-driven RPG AAA game, we're really in for something great with the second installment in that franchise. Hope you all enjoyed the Platinum chest for this one, and stay tuned on the channel for more coming on. Until next time, see ya!